We finally know the launch details for some of the new TVs being released in 2021. Samsung is normally the first manufacturer to release their new TVs for the year, and now we know details around their 8K and 4K sets for 2021, so stick around. Hey guys, it's the Villaman here, home theater enthusiast and lover of all things tech, and we finally know the launch details and price, because that's very important, of the new Samsung Neo QLED TVs. Now, for those of you unaware, the new QLED TVs for 2021 from Samsung will have a mini LED backlight. So this is different from the traditional LED backlight where they are much smaller, and as a result, they can pack a lot more of them in the backlight. So they will have a lot more zones, at least hopefully, than they did last year. We'll be testing that to find out. Now, first on the list is the QN900A, and this is the highest end TV that they announced so far. It's an 8K TV, and it should have all the best features. Now, it'll have their Quantum HDR 48X, and that's in reference to the brightness of the TV, and that's the highest number for any of the TVs they've announced so far. It'll have their Neo processor 8K picture processor and object tracking sound Pro. Now, those are just specs that they listed on their website. We don't know exactly the fine details of just how bright it gets and how good it sounds, but we'll know that once the TV is released and we have it in our hands. Now, the QN900A will range in size from 65 to 85 inches, and the 65-inch version starts at $5,000. The 75-inch version is $7,000, and the 85-inch is $9,000. And you can order it right now, and it will be shipped out to you by March 13th. Then there is a QN800A, which replaces the Q80T that I reviewed last year. Now, that one has the Quantum Matrix Pro, which refers to the new micro LED backlight, and has Quantum HDR 32X, so it's lower brightness than the QN900A, and it uses the same Quantum Neo 8K processor and has object tracking sound plus, not Pro like the 900A. Now, the QN800A will also range in sizes from 65 to 85, so there'll be a 65-inch version for $3,500, which is the same price as the Q800T last year, and there's a 75-inch version for $4,800, which is $200 less than the Q800T last year, and the 85-inch version, which is 3 inches bigger than the one they had last year. Last year they had an 82-inch version. That comes in at $6,500, which is $500 less than the Q800T was launched at. And the TV can also be ordered right now and will be shipped out to you by March 13th also. Those are the only two 8K sets they've announced so far, and if it's anything like last year, then they will have the best features of any of the TVs being released this year. So they'll have better features than their 4K counterparts. Speaking of 4K counterparts, then there is the QN90A, which replaces the Q90T, which I also reviewed last year. Now, that one will range in size from 55 inches to 85 inches so far. Now, the 55-inch version starts at $1,800, which is the same price that the Q800T launched at, and the 65-inch version is $2,600, which is $100 more than the previous version, and the 75-inch version will come in at $3,500, which is $300 less than last year, and 85-inch version comes in at $5,000, which is also $300 less. And that's available to purchase right now, of course, and will be shipped out by March 6th. So that's earlier than any other of the TVs announced so far. Then there is the QN85A, which is interesting because last year we had the Q80T, which was released in the US, and the Q85T, which was released in Europe. So this year there was no Q80 version announced. There was no QN80A announced, but instead the 85A, and that TV ranges in size from 55 to 85 inches like the QN90A, and the 55-inch version starts at $1,600 and goes all the way up to $4,500 for the 85-inch version, and that one's available to order right now and will be start shipping on March 20th. Now, this year's Samsung TVs being better than last year's version is almost like a foregone conclusion because they'll have better technology with the mini LED backlights, and which will result in more of the local dimming zones and also better brightness. That, coupled with the expected better picture processing and of course better contrast management from the new backlighting system, should result in a better picture overall. The question though is just how much of an improvement and how will it relate to the competition. So, you know, the LGs out there, the Hisense, the TCLs, how will it relate to those options on the market also? I mean, the OLED versus QLED comparison is a staple of every year, and if you've seen the one I did last year or the one before that, you know that they both have their respective strengths and weaknesses. So it's going to be interesting to see what strengths the 2021 version has and what weaknesses it has also compared to the OLED or traditional LED TV for that matter. Samsung typically releases details on their higher end TVs first, so we'll have to wait and see in the next coming week and months what the details and launch dates are of their lower end TVs with traditional LED backlighting. And since they've now kicked things off, one can expect that details from other manufacturers like LG and Sony will start coming in too in the next few weeks. I can't wait to get my hands on them, and I'll be testing, reviewing and comparing them, of course, because that's what we do. So let me know if any of these TVs are on your list of ones to buy in 2021, or if you're waiting for details from the LGs, TCLs and Hisenses out there. Oh, and make sure to subscribe and stick around for when these TVs actually start shipping and we get them in so we can test, review and compare them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, this has been your friend and neighborhood Villaman saying be safe and peace.